be caught off guard. Are you ready? Join Storm Tracker Tishon Gomes for Riding the Storms, a 30-minute program bringing you step-by-step information about the hurricane season. 6:30 p.m. every Monday here on Kyrie FM. Come on, let's all ride the storms together.
It is 6:30 p.m. on Monday evening, and you know what that means. It is another episode of Riding the Storms. This episode is brought to you by J. Astafan and Company Limited, New India Assurance, and Fine Foods Incorporated. We'll be right back after these messages.
Can your roof withstand the test of time, weather conditions, and keep you covered? Well, J. Astafan's Home and Building has you covered with quality roof sheeting. Available in a variety of colors and sizes, our roof sheeting is perfect for both industrial and commercial use. And guess what? Not only are we keeping you covered, we're saving you money with 50% off. Shop today at our Canefield Distribution Center. Call 237-2744 or 255-2792. Offer valid while stocks last. Terms and conditions apply. J. Astafans. Right place, right price.
Dominicans, enjoy your property, protect your property. You homeowner and businessman, protect your property, enjoy your property. Can't wait for the hurricane, can't wait till you flood again, can't wait till your roof fly out and all your business coming out. Remember, no insurance company will insure your property when a storm is approaching. Get ahead of the hurricane season and insure with a company who gives you the assurance of payment for your valid claim. Come speak with us today at the New India Assurance Company Limited, upstairs AC Shillingford and Company Limited, 24 King George 5th Street, Roseau. Bring along an up-to-date valuation from a qualified engineer and get insured today.
After the hurricane, if you do not have power and cannot boil water, add 8 drops of clean and white bleach per gallon of water. Let the water sit uncapped for at least 10 minutes before drinking. Make your drinking water safe. This is your hurricane tip from Clean and White Bleach, distributed by Fine Food.
And we are back with Riding the Storms. Our guest today is from one of our sponsors today, New India Assurance. Her name is Kendra Stephen. We'd like to welcome you, Kendra, to the show.
Thank you, Tishon, and to the listening public out there. Thank you for listening, both here and abroad.
And how was your day today?
It was quite interesting today.
Interesting.
Lots today. And yours?
Same here. I mean, as a teacher, the summer vacation is beginning, so things are a little less hectic than usual, but at the same time, they're always behind the scenes stuff and actually getting ready for the next school year. So, as I like to say, no days off. And as we're in the hurricane season, insurance is a very important aspect because not only in terms of your property and your life, but you want to make sure that your things are protected. But one of the first questions I want to ask is, what is your role at New India Assurance?
Okay, I am the marketing officer at AC Shillingford and Company Limited, who are the agents for New India Assurance Company Limited, which has been established in Dominica for over 50 years.
Amazing. And what do you think is the importance of insurance, especially when it comes to natural disasters?
In my opinion, opinion, or well, I believe all insurance companies, they believe that insurance is a financial security. And with that, you mean that person should feel secured or assured, as our New India Assurance says. New India Assurance, we want to assure you with whatever you do. So don't feel like you're just paying out monies to an insurance company for nothing. You have to know what you want for your property and for your safety. As I just said, your security. For motor vehicles, for a natural disaster, you have to ensure that you're covered under the hurricane risk. That is the clause that was called Act of God. So once you have a vehicle, when you go to your insurance company, ensure that you're covered under the clause of the Act of God, which keeps you insured for natural disasters. For properties, one has to say that they protect their family basically. So it's basically a security for people who are close to you in your life, and that is like being protected for your financial hardship in the event for unexpected occurrences. You have to make sure that you're secured to reduce your stress, basically. So once your property is insured, your business is insured, you're covered for catastrophes and unforeseen strategies, which can leave you and your family facing tremendous emotional stress or grief, You have to ensure that you're insured for peace of mind, basically. So you know that you don't have to go and scratch your head to go and get a loan or another loan, because most persons have mortgages for their properties. So you don't have to scratch your head to go and seek another loan to rebuild your property or to ensure that you are back where you were before the loss.
Yeah, so it is very important because as you have seen in Hurricane Maria, it was a very huge strain on a lot of people who did not have insurance or people who did have insurance, but they were not covered under the Act of God. And the thing with the Act of God is that it can happen anytime. It's not only limited to hurricanes. We have earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanic eruption,
right.
All of these things. So it is very important that we have, when we apply for insurance or for insurance policy, that we have the Act of God included.
Right.
Because it is not a risk that you're taking by buying insurance. You are protecting yourself, your family, and your loved ones. So my next question is, what are some of the insurance plans that New India Assurance offers?
New India Insurance has policies. Well, all of it are based on your specific need. But then we have property insurance, that is persons who have their mortgages, contractors all risk, that is those who are building basically. So you're just starting to build, you need contractors all risk so that you're insured if anything happens during that time of construction. We obviously have the motor vehicle, cash in transit, which is basically a money transfer system. We have you covered under that as well. Hurricanes, overflow of the sea, floods, earthquake, volcano, riots and strikes as well. Loss of profits, I said, air impact, third party all risks, malicious damage, burglary, contents as well, and civil commotion. These are some of the policies that we have you covered for at New India Assurance.
Okay, and a very common question. People don't they when people have jobs, they tend to pay for insurance policies, but sometimes they already know what exactly paying for. And I know sometimes a misconception can be between the full comprehensive insurance and the third party insurance. So just for our listeners here tonight, can you tell them the difference in between the third party and the full comprehensive insurance?
Full comprehensive basically is when for persons who have new vehicles. As you know, or you may not be aware that vehicles depreciate. So basically it's a depreciating asset. Although it's an asset to you, but it has an amount applied to it annually, which is depreciating. So the more you depreciate, the lower the value of the vehicle is. So it starts off with full comprehensive, it goes to comprehensive, then it goes to third party.
Okay. What are some of the risk factors when it comes to subscribing for a policy? I mean, you have things like age and location, all these things, but what are some of the risk factors? What might I won't say prevent, but what might have someone
A
pay,
hindrance.
yeah, or maybe pay a higher premium per se every month?
Well, with New India Insurance, we don't do life. So, but we do property, and I mentioned a few before. There's no age limit basically for an insurance policy. But if you're underage, like if somebody willed your property or you had a parent who died, they willed your property, and you're underage, they would have an adult who basically would be your guardian who would, well, I guess both of you all would decide on to what is to happen, but there's no age really. But as it comes to location, the factors that are there is basically where the property is, because the closer you are in town or where there are utilities available, the higher the value of the land, which is also an aspect of coverage for insurance, because it's based on there are different values basically. So there are, I think it's 6% every thousand square. There's a value for that. So the bigger your property, the more insurance you pay, and depending on the location as well. And there are places where there are high risk. Even during Maria, persons will come in to ask whether they could be insured, but then we do not insure persons who are during a storm, because advisories would have been out during hurricane season or approaching hurricanes. We do not insure, or no insurance company rather, insure persons or properties during these times.
Yeah, and I should agree and add to what Kendra is saying, because some people, I mean, we have the entire hurricane season from June to November. Based on climatology, the most severe storms can happen between August and October. That's what they call the peak of the season. But you have the air, so you have the air deal. You have January, February, March. You don't have to wait until, okay, the Prime Minister comes and gives an address, or you have to wait until 2 days, 3 days before any kind of impending disaster. The insurance company is open basically all year.
Yes.
Alright, just like a regular supermarket, it's open all year. It's not limited only to hurricanes. And I'm sure that if you want to protect your items, you want to do that as early as possible. Don't wait. Because based on what the ad said at the beginning of the show, they're not going to wait. You're not going to insure anyone close to the disaster, because the company you see at high risk, isn't that so?
Right.
But I mean, imagine you're going to lose, let's say you have a severe hurricane, category 3 or whatever. You have your house, let's say, close to a river or whatever. The insurance company will see that as a high risk. Okay? And they will not say, okay, I'm not going to insure that place, or we will not offer you any kind of premium because, okay, you're living close to a river, most likely the storm surge and all that's going to wipe out the house, and we'll have to give you money for being in a high risk area. I can understand why the insurance companies do not allow for that. But places in town and those things there, people refer to that as prime land. People, I won't say they fight for that kind of land, but people usually...
You prefer.
Yeah, they prefer land because everywhere in town you have your supermarkets, your utility companies, all those things. So people prefer land in town, especially the commercial sector. They're always looking for land in town to build something. So in terms of the location, having if you're building close to the river or close to a sea, it can be very difficult to get insured. Okay?
Or a mountain or a hill
Oh,
or
yes.
volcanic area.
That's right, because you have the risk of volcanic eruptions, you have landslides, you have falling rocks, all those things. So I can understand why the insurance companies tend to, or if let's say you allow them, if you allow them to, or if you insure them, they will have to pay a much higher premium because of the risk that they are
The
taking.
rates of the insurance policy will be higher. But then everything is dependent on the individual. So my insurance plan might not be your insurance plan. So
That's
it's still specific. That's why we like to tell our customers or the clients to come and speak to us. We'll come and visit your property and we'll advise you accordingly.
That's right. You don't want to wait until it's too late.
Right.
All right. Tomorrow morning there's open. If you don't have an insurance plan, you can head over there tomorrow, as a matter of fact, and speak to the agents. They will have a kind conversation with you. They will assess your property and so on. Okay, but trust me, people tend to have the misconception about the types of insurance, but also they always think that, okay, because I'm going to apply for the insurance, like let's say if I pay in $75 a month for a certain type of insurance, somebody might feel that they're going to pay the same amount.
No,
so that is a
that's
misconception.
Right.
It depends on what you want to protect. It depends on where you live in. And as we said, if you live in a high-risk area, like close to a disaster zone, you're going to have all
Your
sort
rate
of
will be
problem.
higher.
You will pay much higher, and if you have a bigger bill, all those things. Yeah. So everybody's situation is unique, but at the same time, we have an idea of what plans that New India Assurance can offer,
Even the contents of your home can be insured.
like things inside of your house.
Right. So even you have a speaker box that if in the event something happens, God forbid, you need a replacement quickly. Your contents of your property can, so it's not just the building itself, the contents as well.
So if someone has to, so let's say someone has their house, like the perimeter of their house is insured by one insurance company. The content inside of the house can be insured by another company, or will it be preferred to go to the same company?
Preferably same company,
Okay.
because you know that's where your safeguard is. It's like your lock and key, your, are you calling it your vault?
Yes. It seems that to taking a loan, if you have a mortgage loan at the credit union, like I say, you want to consolidate some loans together, you do it all in one place, they know your situation, it's be much better to do that. So it's the same thing with the insurance. It is
It's like
better to,
bundling up.
yes.
You
Like
know,
how
so
did
you
this,
can get a package deal.
indeed, like how they sell have the internet and TV bundle, they just put things together. But we're going to take a short break to listen to our sponsors once again. This is Riding the Storms with Tishan Gums and our guest, Miss Kendra Stephen. We'll be right back after these messages.
Can your roof withstand the test of time, weather conditions, and keep you covered? Well, J. Astephan's Home and Building has you covered with quality roof sheeting. Available in a variety of colors and sizes, our roof sheeting is perfect for both industrial and commercial use. And guess what? Not only are we keeping you covered, we're saving you money with 50% off. Shop today at our Canefield Distribution Center. Call 237-2744 or 255-2792. Offer valid while stocks last. Terms and conditions apply. J. Astephan's. Right place, right price.
Dominicans, enjoy your property, protect your property. You homeowner and businessman, protect your property, enjoy your property. Can't wait for the hurricane, can't wait till you flood again, can't wait till your roof fly out and all your business coming out. Remember, no insurance company will insure your property when a storm is approaching. Get ahead of the hurricane season and insure with a company who gives you the assurance of payment for your valid claim. Come speak with us today at the New India Assurance Company Limited, upstairs AC Shillingford and Company Limited, 24 King George 5th Street, Roseau. Bring along an up-to-date valuation from a qualified engineer and get insured today.
After the hurricane, if you do not have power and cannot boil water, add 8 drops of clean and white bleach per gallon of water. Let the water sit uncapped for at least 10 minutes before drinking. Make your drinking water safe. This is your hurricane tip from Clean and White Bleach, distributed by Fine Food.
The 2021 hurricane season is upon us, and we do not want you to be caught off guard. Are you ready? Join Storm Tracker Tishan Gums for Riding the Storms, a 30-minute program bringing you step-by-step information about the hurricane season. 6:30 p.m. every Monday here on Kyrie FM. Come on, let's all ride the storms together.
And we are back with Riding the Storms. So, there's a few more questions before we end today. When will be the best time to subscribe to an insurance plan? I mean, I know you have different factors, but in terms of age and these things, what will be the best time?
One can come to New India or any insurance company and apply for an insurance policy at any time. But only at the, like earlier on we mentioned, at the disaster-prone times, when we're in hurricane season now, and when an advisory is called, insurance company does not insure around this time. So anytime during the year, you have from basically January to June to ensure that your property is secured. And if you're taking a mortgage as well, or new mortgage, you could come in, speak to us, and we can advise you accordingly. But there's no wrong time to apply for an insurance policy.
Yeah, I need that's the whole concept where people they think of insurance as, I wouldn't say a scam, but they have the wrong idea of what insurance is supposed to be. It's like an investment, like people who invest in the stock market hoping that they will get something out of it.
Right. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the program, insurance is a financial security. So you know that if a disaster occurs, God forbid, that your insurance coverage or your policy will secure you or help you to get back in the position that you were before. So you put in a valid claim, it's assessed, and the payout from your insurance is quite easy. I remember during Hurricane Maria, we were paying out persons as easy. They came, we assessed, and we tried to assist everybody as quickly as possible. And persons were satisfied.
That's a good part. People are satisfied.
And I know we are concentrating a little about property insurance, but even vehicle insurance, because a lot of vehicles were damaged. And I mentioned earlier again about the hurricane risk or the act of God. So make sure that you're insured or has a clause in your policy when you're insuring your motor vehicles. The hurricane risk or the act of God.
Agreed. We have a question from the Facebook Live, one of the comments. Someone is asking, may I ask, why is it that insurance carries out an assessment of a house, arrive at a cost for the policy, yet when disaster happens and claim is made, the policy holder is often told that the house was underinsured and the payment is much less than expected?
That is why we like to tell our clients that you should get your property revalued ever so often. So you know you did an upgrade on your property, you get it revalued and come back to the insurance company to reassess and to give you a better coverage. So a lot of persons, like during Maria, I would expect that would happen to the person, that they put in a claim and maybe they had $100,000, but maybe at the time of Maria, it was maybe $200,000. But the insurance company was not aware. So if we're not aware, if you did not revalue your property and come in to speak to us, we would not have advised you accordingly.
Yeah, and one thing I've noticed is that a lot of people tend to do upgrades on their house. So they build an initial house just to move in with their families, and maybe a few years later they go back to the bank, they get some more money, or they save some money on their own to do some additions to the house, but they never come back to the insurance company. So to answer the question, if you're doing any upgrades to your house, you need to ensure that, okay, you come back to the insurance company.
To include that portion. So you reassess the property and you bring the valuation to the insurance company and we'll advise you accordingly. So then that new addition that you added up to your property could be added to the premium of the policy.
That's right. And with land, I know that land appreciates as opposed to vehicles. I know land always gains value. Like sometimes you might buy a land for $10,000 or $15,000, and a few years later, when you get someone to assess the value of the land, it is way more than what you paid for it. So land is something that appreciates, especially in the closer areas, like close to town. It is worth quite a lot.
Yeah, but then let me just correct you. Land is not insured, basically. Your property is insured.
Yeah. So the
building on the land is insured. The building and on the contents of your property is insured. Land appreciates.
Yes.
The property or the building, that is what you insure.
Correct. And with the vehicles lose value. So let's say I come to place a value on my vehicle and I just bought it.
There's a value attached.
And maybe 4 years, 5 years later, the book value may be much lower.
Right.
Because, and I think a very simple answer to that question is newer versions of vehicles are coming out every year. So let's say the Nissan Navara, for example, may have a new model this year,
right,
in 2021. We'll have a new model this year, 2022, 2023, and so on. Maybe 5-7 years down the line, you go to put a value on the vehicle and you notice it's much less.
But here's another thing too. You might have the same vehicle for a number of years and you did nothing to it. You didn't add anything of value to it. So the value of the vehicle depreciates. So sometimes you could get into an accident and then you remodel it. So then at the accident time, it was of one particular value. But then when you did your furnishings on it, you maybe have added maybe a speaker, a new chrome, something to it, a value. It gives it a little boost.
And speaking of speakers, I know some people, they like to what they call pimp their ride. So as soon as they get vehicles, they put speakers, they put tint, they put all those things on the vehicle to make the vehicle unique, make them their own. But sometimes the people don't think, like when they buy the vehicle, they get one value on it and then later down they just forget about it. So the importance of this episode here today is just to, if you have an insurance policy, please ensure that you follow up on it, especially things like buildings. People always add to their buildings. Like I know people, like at the back of my house, there's one apartment complex being built at the back of my house. One time they have one floor, and then over a period of time they building floors and floors and floors at the back. One of those days, as my back, and I had to break my neck to look up because they were building that high.
They're extending.
So in situations like that, you will always want to go to the insurance company and make them assess and give you another value,
Right.
especially for the things inside of your house as well, in case anything happens.
And especially if it's a commercial property as well, because you as a business owner, you don't want to know that something happens and the value of your property is not that it is at the time of the disaster versus when it was back then. So if you did any additions to it, please ensure that you get your property reassessed and that valuation is brought in to the company so that you could add that policy or the premiums to give you that correct value for your property.
Agreed. And once again, the premium that one person pays might not be the same across the board.
It's specific to the individual.
And their situation, isn't that so? Yes. So we have to be mindful of that. Just because I have a policy I pay in $125 a month or whatever, that doesn't mean you're going to have the same policy. Both of us have different houses. Both of us have different vehicles.
Right.
I might have a car, you might have a Jeep. They will be valued differently.
The location is different as well. The size of your property or the building is different as well. So everything is dependent on what you are specific, or what is specific to you rather.
And I also want to stress on the location aspect, because trust me, people living in some kind of very disaster prone areas, and given our mountainous terrain, we cannot hide from that. You're gonna see people building in some weird places and you cannot hide from that. However, if you really persuade, I should say, the insurance company to insure your property, just know you're gonna have to pay a very high premium.
Right, because you're in a location which is called high risk.
Even prone area, if you live in out not out,
Persons, like, I know before persons live in Wavin, around this time that you have to evacuate, but then your property is still there. So what happens to you if you're uninsured? But then in an event like that, the premium might be a little high. But then again, we still like to tell persons that your premium and your policy is dependent on where you are, your location, and is specific to you. So no policy is basically the same.
yeah, everybody's situation is unique. And just before we leave, any final words you want to leave to our listeners?
Let me just remind the persons as we were speaking to ensure that you assess your properties ever so often. Inform the insurance company so that we could put any additional value of that property onto your policy, and to ensure that if in the event that something happens, that you are fully covered. And if you need any advice, we at New India Assurance Company is always willing to assist you. So come to us. We are located on King George V Street. That is in the main building, upstairs the main building in town. Or you can call us 448-2481 or 448-4023. Come in at any time and we're always willing to assist. And we're in the hurricane season. Be safe. Make sure that you're insured. And as our slogan says, general insurance with a personal touch. Come to New India Assurance.
I agree. And tomorrow morning, as the doors are open, you can talk to one of the agents, get your value reassessed, get your things up to date, because you never know what can happen. We're in July right now, but the peak of the hurricane season is from August. So now is the time to go to New India Assurance. If you don't have a plan, if you don't have an insurance plan, go to New India Assurance. They can get you something that will be worth your salary and we'll protect you properly. But I'd like to thank Kendra for being here with us. I'd like to thank New India Assurance for sponsoring the program in the first place. Trust me, we really appreciate it. Okay? And once again, we will, tomorrow, you go to New India Assurance, get a policy in check. But that's all for us here tonight. Thanks for the listeners. Thanks for everyone listening on the radio, TV, Facebook Live. This is Tishan Gomes from Riding the Storms. Tuning out.
Thank you.
The 2021 hurricane season is upon us, and we do not want you to be caught off guard. Are you ready?